Thank you, Ethan. Now I'm over here in the other room, moved on over to the mixed reality, virtual reality room, where they have some really awesome demos here, basically MR, VR games on Windows 10. Now, I'm joined here by John from Vertigo Games to talk a little bit about Arizona Sunshine. So for the people waiting in line, I know they're letting them all up right now, kind of curious, what is Arizona Sunshine?
Arizona Sunshine is a VR zombie shooter, first-person shooter, obviously. And you basically start out in a cave as a lone survivor of a zombie apocalypse. And
I like this already.
yeah, we know the story. And in this process, you're trying to find if there's any survivors around. You got to search for supplies, etc. Obviously, battling zombies through the Arizona desert.
That's awesome. And you have different types of zombies as well that you can run into, or are you just getting pummeled by hordes of them?
It varies. There's moments where there's hordes that come. A lot of times it's more varies like speed. Some of them jump, leap over cars and come at you, and they've been known to crawl as well. So it's a little bit of like just trying to keep you on your toes.
I was gonna say, now I'm a pretty big pansy when it comes to games, so I'm pretty nervous about AR VR when it comes to games like zombie games specifically. And I'm kind of curious, are you guys also like, is there, taking advantage of that? Are you gonna have some oh no jumps on some of these people coming up here for demos?
Not intentionally. So one of the things that's unique about Arizona Sunshine is we set it in the bright sunshine. So there's only one level where you actually move into a darker environment in some caves. And the whole point was, being able to create a jump scare in VRs, it's sort of easy to do, but that's not really what you're trying to get. Rather build tension through the level itself, fighting off the zombies versus just having something surprise you.
Now, as far as when you're fighting these zombies, I'm kind of curious, what are kind of the tools of the trade here? Because you see different variations out there. And with MR, VR experience specifically, what are kind of your guys' approach when you're like, all right, we are in here, you're in this game, you're in Arizona Sunshine, you need to battle your way out. Kind of what are the tools of the trade you're giving players?
So in Arizona, we give you about 25 guns that you can use, all single-handed guns. Some of them are automatic, some of them are little shotguns, others mostly pistols. And then you also have grenades, so a little bit of the crowd damage. Oh, and a grenade launcher you find as well.
Of course. Well, if you're going to have grenades, you might as well have a grenade launcher.
Yeah. And there is a sniper rifle and a Gatling gun, which is my personal favorite.
Nice. I feel like you can definitely shred down a couple of these.
That would definitely be a horde that you're dealing with the Gatling gun.
Now, does it approach like a couple one at a time in the beginning, and then it just starts to slowly grow as you it sounds like you explore new and different areas?
Yeah, so you start out in that cave environment,
Yep.
and you basically run into a couple zombies here and there, sort of getting the player used to the combat, used to aiming, because you actually have to aim it like a proper gun, line up the sights.
Like you have to visually like line it up?
Yeah, it works best when you actually look right down the sights and line the front and rear sights up like a gun.
Yep.
Normally. If you play it on the easy mode, there's a red dot sight.
Which is the mode I'm probably going to play on first.
It does help. But yeah, so it's to get people comfortable with it. And slowly there's more zombies that you run into in certain events where all of a sudden, they realize you're there and all the zombies in the environment come after you at once.
Now, I like the idea that you guys went with a different concept. Instead of basically throwing in like the dark, gloomy, mysterious, you guys instead, literally in the name, Arizona Sunshine. So you're going more of like that brightness. You're just in the bright day. Patient zeros are all over the place coming at you, basically.
Yeah, I mean it's a process of sort of exploring this story and trying to find your way out. But in terms of the environment that you're in, yeah, it's bright sunshine, and there's some of them are slower, not really noticing that you're there. And then certain events, like you start firing your gun, they're gonna hear you and come after you. The biggest dynamic again for us was this idea that once you put a VR headset on, it's you can figure out pretty quickly how easy it would be to scare somebody, right? And just early on, we made that decision that we weren't going for that in terms of creating a jump scare fest, right? So it's meant to be something that a player that might be afraid of a proper sort of fright fest horror game would actually be able to play this, would actually be able to feel comfortable playing Arizona.
I like this. So it's almost like an entry level of like, we understand there's zombies, we understand, and you want to obviously destroy and survive, but at the same time not pulling any gimmicks or not pulling any fast ones of saying like, hey, we're going to have things jump up and behind you, or we're going to give you a flashlight where you can barely see like a little bit of spectrum until you reload or stuff like that. Instead, like, we're going to put you out in the day, we're going to put you out in the broad daylight, and then you're going to find an arsenal of guns and weaponry at your feet, and around the game, and then use those tools to basically try to hunt and survive and live out kind of your zombie survival fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a fantasy that most people.
I know a lot of people out there who are really big fans, and they were like, "All right, this is what I would really do."
Yeah, so it's a little bit of that in terms of living out that fantasy. I will say there is the mines level that you go into. We do have a flashlight. It is dark, so for people who are looking for that. You do have some of that experience, but that's a level that's later on in the game. So we don't throw that at you right away, and it's not something even going through that's designed to create a jump scare.
Okay, and what we're seeing right now, actually, someone's popping on the headset here, and it looks like he's calibrating and getting ready to fire up.
Yes, that's right. So when you start the game, there's a height calibration to the player that basically sizes everything properly. Then you start the game, and it jumps you into Caravan.
And that's one thing also with VR, I feel like, or MR experiences, you always have to make sure you have that nice wide open play space. I've definitely played and then like hit my dog and I'm like, oh no, like who's like sitting on the couch.
One of the things to have in mind though is that I haven't set the boundaries, so otherwise I would know exactly through a transparent door where I am. So.
Try not to get hit and still get him in there.
Yeah.
So for those who didn't hear, he's setting his, usually you set the boundaries. That way actually like within the limits you have. Oh, I like this. And then to load it, you almost have like a slot cartridge. And then it's almost got like a classic little Arizona Sunshine like throwback.
Definitely throwback.
Josh.
Yes. All right, that's pretty cool. Well, this is Arizona Sunshine, and then real quick, you did have the other game over there, just to mention it.
Yeah, so we've got another game here today called Skyworld, which is a tabletop strategy game, so very different from a zombie shooter. You stand around this tabletop and actually manage resources and typical strategy, but in VR.
Nice. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate showing this off here. We're going to head back over to Ethan, so hang tight.